There's very few things in this world that we have true and utter control over. But the one thing that we do have control over is our thoughts. Believe it or not, just like any other skill, controlling your thoughts does take practice. And the more and more you work on controlling your thoughts, the better you get at it. And there are methods that you can use to make sure that all your thoughts are serving you and helpful and kind. And one of the things you can do is catch yourself. Always catch yourself saying something in your mind that is not helping you. I want to remind you that the words that you hear being spoken in your mind are not you. It is a function of your physical brain. It's where all of your memories are stored. It's where your language is stored. It's where your information about what an emotion feels like is stored. Your brain is your computer, your supercomputer, and it can do amazing things, and we don't even know the extent of what it can do just yet. We only have a percentage of it available to us at this moment. I want to point out to you guys that every time you have a positive thought, you're activating a positive thought loop. And when you have a negative thought, you're activating a negative thought loop. Now, keep in mind, you're not always completely in control of what pops into your head. You can have a inspired idea, you can have a memory just kind of, insert itself in there. But what you can do and what you do have control over is how long you entertain that thought. So the second you notice that it doesn't fit some criteria, and I'm going to show you that criteria in just a moment, then what you want to do is bump it out. Replace it with something else. Notice it, catch it, and kick it out the door. You don't need that negative thought, because that negative thought is activating the negative thought loop. Exactly. Okay, so I want to read you something from Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I'm going to show you guys. I've been reading this very slowly. I'm not a fast reader, and I don't read nonfiction as if it's a fiction book. I don't just read it like it's a story. I'm literally studying it. I'm literally taking notes. I'm literally learning it so that my actual neural connections change as a result of reading this book. I don't want to come out as the same person I went in with. Okay, so here goes. As you think different thoughts, your brain circuits fire in corresponding sequences, patterns, and combinations, which then produce levels of mind equal to those thoughts. Once these specific networks of neurons are activated, the brain produces specific chemicals with the exact signature to match those thoughts so that you can feel the way you were just thinking. So what I just said was that when you have a thought, your brain immediately starts sending signals to release hormones and chemicals that will force you, your body, to feel what's in relation to that thought. It makes sense, but it's basically proving the idea that you can feel good just by thinking a good thought. Let me keep going. Therefore, when you have a great thought, or loving thoughts, or joyous thoughts, you produce chemicals that make you feel great or loving or joyful. The same holds true if you have negative, fearful, or impatient thoughts. In a matter of seconds, you begin to feel negative or anxious or impatient. There's a certain synchronicity that takes place moment by moment between the brain and the body. In fact, as we begin to feel the way we are thinking, because the brain is in constant communication with the body, we begin to think the way we are feeling. So what that's saying is, because everything's moving in a loop, in a pattern, and it's rhythmic in nature, also based on the law of rhythm and the law of vibration, because you had a thought, you had the corresponding feelings. And then the corresponding feelings produce more of that thought. Again, the law of attraction. Let me finish this thought. The brain constantly monitors the way the body is feeling. Based on the chemical feedback it receives, it will generate more thoughts that produce chemicals corresponding to the way the body is feeling, so that we first begin to feel the way we think, and then we think the way we feel. So if you ask yourself which came first, the chicken or the egg, the apple or the apple tree, the apple seed or the tree, you'd have to say in this case, the thought came first and then the feeling. And that goes against what people have been thinking that is happening in your body for the longest time. We think that something amazing has to happen before we can feel good. We think that we have to have some result, some end result. And that is what's causing us to not have that end result, is because we're putting so much pressure on it. The idea of detaching from the end result is ideal, because what you need to focus on is having the positive thoughts, and hence the positive feelings, which cause more positive thoughts. The loop, the cycle continues. In the law of attraction, the first step is to ask. You need to ask for what you want. What that means is you have to know what you want. So you might want something physical, some physical thing like a car, a house, a vacation. You might want a relationship. You might want a certain level of accomplishment, or you might just want a certain feeling. You have to consider what it is that you are actually trying to get by having that thing. And it's usually the end result of the feeling is what you wanted. My ultimate message to you is that you can raise your vibration. You can feel good all the time, or at least most of the time. When you catch yourself in a bad mood, you can transmute that energy into something more useful. Okay, so I told you I was going to give you some criteria to look at to decide whether or not a thought is serving you or not. So you use the acronym called THINK, and I've given to you this before in other videos, but here it is. So the T stands for, is it true? H is it helpful? I is it inspiring? N is it necessary? And K is it kind? If you can say no to any of those questions about your thought, then kick it to the curb, peeps. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I use this analogy of having a bouncer at the entrance to my brain. And I like this idea because it reminds me that none of this is me. None of the process is me. It's me having a hand in it or controlling parts of it, but my thoughts are not me, my brain is not me, my body is not me. But I'm still the driver, okay? So it's just like your car is not you. It's taking you places, but your car is not you. But, you know, sometimes you can lose control, or if you're not paying attention, you can hit a curb, which I did yesterday, busted my tire. I'll tell you that story another time. But anyways, long story short, I want you to really, really pay attention. And this all goes hand in hand with an idea called mental diet. And I want to get into this mental diet idea in the new year. I'm going to get into some new stuff, some new topics, and I'm really being inundated with inspiration, and I really hope that I can reach a lot of people in the new year. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. If you have any questions or comments, anything, please leave them below. Let me know what are some of your strategies you're going to use to make sure that you don't enter a negative thought loop. Okay, let me know what you're going to do in order to raise your vibration, or even just let me know how you're doing in general. I really love your comments. I love you guys. Be as happy as you can, stay positive, and be positive. Mwah.